This video is about how to make fitted sheets for irregular shaped mattresses. These happen to be off my sailing boat, and these mattresses are 25 years old. I think they're original. They look like they are. It's got burns in it. Anyway, that's the current condition of the cushions or mattresses, and what I'm going to do is make fitted sheets to go on them. So there'll be custom sheets that fit the shape of the mattress, and we'll go to the next. So next thing I need to do is to lay the material over the mattress, and this material, I went to the haberdashery shop, and they only had very little sheet material and only a couple of colours that weren't suitable. So this is actually from a box store called Kmart. This is a king size doona cover, and it's been cut in half, so the two sides of it have been cut away, so there's two large sheets, and there ends up being enough material to cover 4 of these mattresses or 2 of the cabins on the boat. So the step now is to just lay it out and to try and measure. I can't show this one-handed, but I'm trying to measure all around that I've got about the same amount of clearance on each corner, the furthest corners, and that's pretty close to what it should be now. The clearance I'm getting is about 15 to 16 centimetres, or about maybe 6 inches. That's getting close. The next step is to work out a rough cut. I've managed to get about 17 centimetres, or whatever that comes to in inches, as the minimum length off the edges of the mattress, and that's about 17 to 20 centimetres all around, and a similar amount here. And there's chalk marks now, which I'm going to cut. These are the chalk marks, and that'll be where the material gets roughly cut. It doesn't matter about fully cutting it properly yet, we'll do that later. Just a rough cut to begin with. The material's been roughly cut. Step now is to mark the corners, and I've already made 2 of these mattress covers, mattress fitted sheets. So I know from experience the first ones I did, I marked right on the corners. I want to come a little bit down from there, maybe half an inch or a centimetre or 2. And I just mark the corner positions. The reason for going a little bit beyond is that you take up some material when you sew it, and I found the first one was it was fine, but it was a tiny bit tighter than I wanted. So I'm just going to do the 4 corners. I'm not going to worry about this inset piece here. That'll come later. That's one corner done. So again, this corner, come down a little bit, maybe a centimetre or 2. Mark that with the chalk. A little bit tricky one-handed. That's good enough. And the next corner, about there. Oops, that's visible. And finally, this corner. And what I'll find later is I can make these 4 corners the corners for them, and when I come back I can have it in position on top and work out the positions for the inset part. Okay, so the next thing then is to cut out squares for each corner. We'll come to that soon. Okay, so the 4 corners have been cut, and these are just cut at right angles for a right angle corner. Same again. That could be inset a little bit. I'll show you that in a second. This one here, this corner, because it's fairly straight there, but it hooks around underneath there on that part. So what I've done is cut a bit of an angle there, which means that when it's sewn together it'll pull more around underneath on that corner. It'll almost like hook over the mattress to follow the shape a little bit better. So that's that part done. Now we just need to sew those 4 corners. That'll take a second, and we can try it for a fit on top of the mattress shortly. So to sew these corners, here's one of the corners. The key thing is we have the face side, which is the side that will be showing, and we want to sew always when we're sewing this material face to face. So this first corner here will be, we're always looking at the back side of the material and face to face. And you can see how the different lengths here, they don't quite match up, and that's fine. We're going to trim around the whole thing a bit later to make them the same length. So for now we just sew from the top of this material. And I like to make sure it goes all the way to the top. So we put in 2 or 3 stitches, go backwards, pull all the way to the top, and then back forwards again. Okay, so now I'm just ensuring that it's all together. And go all the way along to the shortest of the 2 pieces. And I don't even need to go too far to the end, because this will get folded over. Now it's just a back stitch to secure the end. And that one is done. Okay, then as always, 4 bits of material to trim off. That one. That one. Long one. And long one. Okay, so that's one of the 4 done. Next one is just here. And this is the one that had the slightly different angle on it. So if we look at it here, again we fold it, make sure it's face to face. Bring it down. And that'll be the same stitch with a lot of excess material here that we're going to cut off fairly soon. Okay. Into the machine. Couple of stitches. Back stitch all the way to the top. Forward again. And just make sure they're all lined up. Again, to finish off, 2 or 3 backwards and forward again. And that one's done, that's 2 done. As you can see, that fits really beautifully. just the right amount of tension there. We're going to add elastic to it later, and that'll pull it through more, but that fits really nicely on the mattress there. So the next thing we have to do is the little inset part. So I'm going to get the chalk. And we're going to mark the corner for the inset. So again, I've got the right tension. I'm going to mark just a little bit past it, so that's one mark there. That's visible. And then again, there's a mark that needs to go just on here. Okay, so I can see those two marks. Now it's a matter of cutting. So what's going to happen is, because it's the corner that goes in the other way, I can't use the material I have here to do that. I need to cut another little piece of material out and add it. And what will end up happening is that this part here will fold down and become part of the inset, as you can see there. And then I'll have to add a little flap of material, an extra piece to create that part there that drops down, so that corner can be sewed together and this corner can be sewed together. So step number one, with the scissors, is to make the cut for this corner here. So I'm just going to come straight in from the end. I've made the cut for that corner. There's no point right now in cutting off this end because we're just going to do that later. But we now need to make the cut from here down to here. So essentially I continue the cut along. Okay, so now we have the corner which is already made on the end there. This piece here, which can now come down, I need to now cut the extra piece of material, which will form that last piece there. So some of our scrap. I'll allow slightly more for the hems, so that's the width of the that I want. Like that. So I go. Now I did think about matching up the patterns, but just by chance I think it'll match kind of anyway. Now the only thing is now I want to go at an angle this way because it's going to come. Let me start it. Okay, because this piece here folds under, so I want to go a little bit out that way to create that shape. So I'm going to go. Okay, so now we're ready to sew again. So essentially we're going to sew these two pieces together, these two pieces together, and that'll create the shape and the material for that inset part of the cushion. We'll come back to the sewing machine and do that soon. Alright, so this is the next part. This is where it gets a little bit complicated. So what we're trying to do, we've done our four corners. We've got our piece that's cut out to fit onto here, and we've got markings of these two pieces here. So this material will come down and hang down below like this, okay? The key now is to remember that it has to go face to face. So what I'm going to do is sew. Look at it from underneath. No, so there's the face, and there's the face. So I'm going to sew these two pieces together, and when that folds over, we'll have our seam showing there, and this piece hanging down, which is what creates the additional piece of material we need for that funny inside corner that we have. So let's get the machine ready. Need to bring this piece up here and through. I need to sew this piece onto it here. Now I've already done 2 of these cushions. The first one took me about 5 or 6 hours, and the second one took me about an hour and a half. It's just a matter of figuring it all out. So the first one, figuring this stuff out, was not easy, but now that it's done, I know what I'm supposed to be doing here. Okay, so getting it all in position. Tricky. And that is about it. So we drop the foot down. Three stitches backwards, and then we go along to the end. That is done. Okay, so I was talking about bobbin running out of line, and that's what's happened. So I don't know if we've got a proper stitch here yet. Okay, let's do that. Bobbin, as simple as that. And we are in fact done and ready to sew. Now, because I'm not sure what happened with the last sew, when it ran out of bobbin, I'm just going to sew it again. So I'll sew it another time in the same place or right next to where it was sewn before. So I'm bringing the material through. And through. I'm going to sew it a little bit further out this time. Pretty much the same place there. Checking I haven't got anything underlaying or in the wrong place. Looks fine. Okay, let's go. Done. Two bits of cotton this time. And that's now sewn on. Okay, bit of a clean up. These long bits. that's the new piece put on. And now that's done, you can see that that folds down, and that's our seam on the inset piece. And so now we have the same thing to do as before, which is simply to sew these faces together, and that'll be face to face. And then we have to sew, so it's just two corners, same idea as before, to be sewn together. Let's do this one first. Because I've gone a little bit past the corner, it's a little bit tricky to start, but that's good. I want to have it overrun, so I'm not left with a hole or something sticking up as we begin. So, get the foot down, then work on making sure it lines up. It doesn't line up at all. It's going to be like that. That's better. Okay. That will work. Towards the end, backwards a bit, forwards, clean up. Alright, that's one of the two done. Just have a look. Got one piece of the inset done now, and then we just need to do the last one. Again, it's just kind of system you use, face to face. That's what I want. Okay, the foot's down, they're lined up, we're in the joint. It's just a little bit important to run past everything a bit here, because we want to make sure that corner when it folds out doesn't create a hole. It needs to be all sewn through. And here we go. Now that's going to be far longer than what we need. I'm going to back it off a bit here, just so that if we cut this shorter, we've got a lock stitch in there. Done. So if you look at what we have now, fold it out, we have our end. So we have our first corner, coming along to our next corner, and then our inset corner, which has that little angle on it, and then our final corner, which is the other corner of the mattress. We'll try that for fit in a second. Alright, so now it's a matter of trying this for fit. So, and it's done. We have our two corners, one there, fits perfectly. And here fits really well, and this one here fits really well. So now I've done, you see I might have gone a little bit far with that, but that looks fine. So now the colour, on the top at least, is done. That's a really good colour. Needs a bit of an iron, but other than that it's all good. So we can see that there. Corners are done. And it all fits really, really well. Okay, so the next thing will be to trim around the edges. Remember how the edges don't match up in length? We'll just do that in a second. We'll cut right around the outside of it to make sure that all the edges are the same length and approximately that 17 and 18 centimetres we're looking for. Okay, next step is, as you saw, we've sewn the faces together, and at the ends they weren't all matching, which doesn't matter. We can just now get the scissors. You can see at each point they're not quite the same length. Get the scissors and bring those together to be matching. So this one here, start cutting. I'm going to gradually go out to the edge of the material. Like that. We'll find our next intersection all the way down here. So we come to the next join of the two faces, and that doesn't match up too well either. You can see what I'm going to do is just a straight run from here to the next join. You'll notice that I'm not hemming this material. I probably should. I could do an overlock stitch or something. Again, I've got a long run here. So this one here, as usual, they don't quite match. But all we're going to do is feather it out to the edge. So I'm not doing a hem or an overlock, which I could do, and it's just my choice. I think that the amount of fraying will be not so bad, but what I could do is go right around the edge after this step with an overlock stitch, but I'm not going to do that because what we're going to have is a hem like this, which will hold the elastic material inside all the way around. This is where it will get interesting, I think. We're now back at the corner we just made. What's happened there? I haven't. Oh, okay. So what's happened here is this has fallen apart. I would say that is the beginning of where the bobbin ran out. So I'm going to need to sew that again. Let's quickly do that. Okay, that is now fixed. Alright, so we're back to cutting the edges. Come along this edge. Now here it gets a bit interesting. This is the long edge. coming into the first corner. Then we've got the long panel that's far bigger than we need. And I think what I'm going to do is just cut straight across along there, because it'll end up being elastic all the way through, pulling it back in. So we'll just do a cut straight to the end of the next second piece. A little bit of a curve in shape. And we keep going. Alright, so the next bit is sewing in the elastic. What I have is about 8 meters, roughly 8 meters of elastic hanging down this side, which I can then sew into the edge of the sheet. I just need to get this thing upside down, so I'll do that. Okay, that's all upside down. And then for a starting point, we need to pick somewhere. I think personally I just pick about halfway along one of those long edges, and so that'll that'll be our start and finish point. We bring that into the machine, bring the elastic in as well. So this will be a simple straight stitch all the way around the edge of the material. And I've got about a centimetre or half an inch or something overlap there. The key thing is to never ever sew through the elastic, so I've always got to feel the elastic is away from where I'm sewing. So here we go. Begin. We go continually until we reach the other end. Reaching our first corner.
Dad?
Good, Harry. Still filming.
You're filming
Yeah,
right now?
doesn't matter. I'm still filming.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's alright. Doesn't matter. We'll get the sounds of the house. It's all fine. I can always edit bits out.
Just put a bit of music over it.
Yeah.
We might have to check the mouse because I'll check this straight here. Oh, you're right. You go first. You're good at this. Fill it up pretty well. Yes, very right. Sure.
Alright, getting towards the end of this big long sew all the way around. At some point there it got a bit stuck. I don't know what happened, but you just got a bit out of alignment. It's back on track now. And this has taken about 15 minutes, I reckon, to get all the way around here. We're getting towards the end. Maybe 50 centimeters to go. Okay, so that's done all around, and we're left with a little bit extra here that I had to guess how much to use, and this other end runs back to the, the reel of material, and we just need to tension that through now, so we can grab both ends of it, tension it all through the sheet, and let me put that around. So we have back to the reel, left over, which is going to be waste, the sheet itself with the material sewn all the way through, and what I'm going to do now is pull on this one, the one that goes back to the reel, to tension up the placed it within the sheet. Okay. So I pulled quite a lot through there. Now I just want to move that out onto the rest of the sheet if I can. That's gone. And I really want to pull the real end out, because if I pull that one out I'm just going to waste more of it. So I'm just trying to take it and distribute it all the way around the sheet if I can. And if I can get all the way to the other end, that'd be ideal. Getting close now. Might end up having too much tension on this one, but just a case of just trial and error. Nothing's ever perfect, only God makes perfect things, as the Amish say. I'm actually beginning to start to pull through the elastic from the loose end, which I've got to be careful with. If I pull that back inside, that one, then not really achieving much, am I? So that's going to probably do it, I'd say. Okay, so I think what I'll do now is pull some tension through on it again, and then just sew it. Well done. That's right. Okay. I'm going to call it. So now we take this to the sewing machine. Tricky. Okay, that one. Drop the bobbin. We're just going to sew this two pieces of elastic together. Now that it's in, I can go that way. that way. Get the nail in, rotate, down, along, backwards, forwards. That'll do. Sewn in. Okay, so that is sewn together, the elastic. Give it a quick check, and I think that's going to be fine. So now I'll just get the scissors and chop the ends off. So we have that one. Okay, so that's now joined and trimmed. The sheet's pretty much done. The last little thing is just to sew that remaining bit of hem along. Okay, that's sewn closed. Final thing now to do is try it for fit and see how we go. Okay, final check with the fit. That's final job done. It should be.
Is that the last one?
No, it's the third one. Third one out of 6.
Are you going faster now?
Much faster. Much faster, much better, I think.
No, it's not happening, isn't it?
After I did the first one, it was much easier after the first one.
Yeah, it was always a prototype.
Yeah, the first one you got to think, and then after that it's not too bad.
Yeah, that looks like a nice snake fit, that now.
Yeah,
Oh, look at that one on the corner there.
it's good, isn't it?
Very,
Yeah.
very smart.
So we tip it up.
Well done.
All done.
Can you get different strength elastics?
You can, different thicknesses. But it also depends on how tight you pull it.
What's that?
It also depends on how tight you pull it.
Ah,
You can pull more through or less through.
okay.
That's done. Final
Good job.
result. Isn't that good? Okay, so that's done. The only final thing I do to these cushions, I did the first two like this, is I sew on the position of the cover, because when they're all elastic and loose, excuse me, it could possibly be hard to know which cover goes on which mattress. So what I've got is, on the first two that I did, they're on the starboard side of the boat. So I had SS and SP for starboard, and starboard port, and that lets me know the starboard cabin, and that's a starboard or port cushion on that side of the boat. So on the port side of the boat, these two will be, one will be PP for port cabin, port side, and the other one will be PS for port cabin, starboard side, and they go on the very end of the thing, and I have to change to a black or dark material for the sewing for that. So I just literally sew in those letters, about an inch tall, and then if you find the end of the cover, you can identify which cushion it needs to go onto, so it'll fit properly. And that's making a cover for a mattress cover for a not a cover, really a fitted sheet, really, for a custom shaped cushion on a boat. Okay, sometime later, this is the two mattresses from the rear port cabin, all done, and they're beautiful. These corners here go against, I think the outside one, this is the outside, this is the inside one, goes against the engine thing, that's why it's sloped like that. And the other one goes up against the cupboard, so that goes there. You can see the cushions are superb compared to what they looked like before. All fitted, ready to go on the boat. Just one last thing I need to do, which is to label the two sheets, and I'll do that soon and show you how that's done as well. That'll be the finishing touch. Alright, so yeah. So the first thing I need to do is to change over the machine from white cotton to black cotton. So this comes off, this comes out. That's the white bobbin. In goes the black one. It's not actually black, it's grey. It'll do. It's dark enough. So this is the port cabin. That's the port mattress cover. So I want to write the two letters P and P. The other one, which is the port and starboard mattress cover, I'll write P and S. So P. I'll start out here. Put the needle back in the material. There we go. Drop the foot. Back around a bit. Put the needle back in. There. And got a little twisting going on. Backwards a bit, forwards a bit. Okay, so that one's done. It says P&P, and the other one will say P&S. You don't see that being done again.